Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the center of the universe, where we will be recapping all the events that transpired within the past week in the WWE. And with it being the penultimate week before the King of the Ring pay-per-view, there was plenty to take in, so buckle in as we take you for a ride. Starting off on Monday Night Raw for the first time since the Royal Rumble and the first time on Monday night since before Hell in a Cell, Kyle O'Reilly made an unexpected appearance on the Red brand, discussing all that had transpired up until now, the Hell in a Cell match with Walter and the Royal Rumble event itself. Despite a massive reaction from his hometown, O'Reilly left many scratching their head as to what he meant by he wasn't even meant to be in the Royal Rumble event itself. Well, it all became clear when we had some behind-the-scenes footage from the Royal Rumble that unveiled Kyle O'Reilly and Walter himself in the office of Raw General Manager Sting, with Walter giving up his spot in the Royal Rumble to O'Reilly, the spot that would eventually be number 30. O'Reilly was glad that he did not win the event, however, as he claims that his body needs time to recover, but when he'll be back, he will be the World Heavyweight Champion. I'm sure all of us can join together in wishing Kyle O'Reilly a speedy recovery, and many of us also hope that that dream will one day become reality. Elsewhere on Monday Night Raw, we witnessed the final King of the Ring qualifier on the Red brand between Bryan and one half of the Raw Tag Team Champions in Hanson. The two men went into an absolute battle with one another, throwing bombs until Bryan countered a top rope superplex into a running knee yes-lock combination to secure his spot in the King of the Ring tournament. Bryan said that this tournament means everything to him. Now he is one step closer to finally reclaiming glory. However, that was not the biggest story to come out of Monday Night Raw. Rather, it would be what would immediately follow it, as the match between Shelton Benjamin and Juice Robinson would be curtailed due to the assault on Benjamin courtesy of Jeff Hardy, who was using fellow Supremacy member to lure out Brock Lesnar. Hardy would demand that he wanted his hands on Brock Lesnar, demand that he wanted one more match with the Beast, and Lesnar would appear on the Titantron with a bloodied Cassius Ohno in his hands, suggesting that there was only one way that Jeff Hardy was going to get that right to put his hands on Brock Lesnar, to put his career on the line against the Beast. With the threat of ending Ohno's career right there and then, Jeff Hardy chose to accept the challenge put forward by Brock Lesnar, well aware that his next match with the Beast could well be his last. Brock Lesnar, though, continued to send his message, letting go of Ohno for a brief moment, only to lure him into an F5, before telling Jeff Hardy that he could pick the time and the date he would bring the coffin and a chair for Ohno to sit by, as Hardy's career would come to an end. We are destined for one more match between these two incredible athletes, but will it be the final match in the career of Jeff Hardy? Elsewhere on the Blue brand, it was chaos from the start of the show as a six-man battle royal to determine the second spot in the King of the Ring tournament for the Blue brand was met with controversy and outside interferences. Damian Priest, who had controlled the majority of the battle royal, found himself eliminated at the hands of the bounty hunter Apollo Crews in the ongoing rivalry between Paradigm and the bounty hunter. Crews would cement his statement with a cruise control on the outside before running back up out of the ramp, leaving it between Big E and Matt Riddle in the ring to determine the final spot. Despite both men throwing bombs at one another, it would be Big E who would connect with the big ending before shoving Riddle to the outside and qualifying for his spot in King of the Ring. While another big name has been added to that incredibly stacked tournament, Big E could not enjoy the full extent of his celebration as he was interrupted by the manager of the bounty hunter in Booker T. Big E chose to leave the ring in the wake of Booker coming out. It was what Booker was in the ring for to announce that had us all surprised. There would finally be the culmination, what we had been waiting so long for, the match between the Bounty Hunter and Death Rider. At King of the Ring, it will be a last man standing match between the two, a match that Booker T has promised will not only bring about an end to Jon Moxley, but Paradigm with it all, as Apollo Crews will pull the trigger on Jon Moxley. Moxley's response was straight and to the point as he walked into the ring, jumped Booker T from behind, and connected with a paradigm shift for the world to see, Apollo Crews included, before telling them that it sounded like it was a good idea, that he would be looking forward to the match with Apollo Crews next Sunday. While we have certainly been waiting a long time for these two men to finally do battle, will the Bounty Hunter be able to stick to his word and bring about an end to Moxley and Paradigm? Or will Death Rider prove why he is just that? And with the Bounty Hunter in his sights, will he be the last man standing? On ECW, it was not simply about what happened within the matches, but rather one big moment that shaped and was talked about for the entirety of the show, as the match between Akira Tozawa and Humberto Carrillo would be derailed and subsequently ended, not as a result of outside interference on either man, but the arrival of Seth Rollins, a man who we had not seen since his elimination at the Royal Rumble at the hands of Corin. The crowd rose to their feet and were in meltdown at the sight of Rollins, and it was clear that Rollins wanted the ring to himself. The man who had shaped ECW for so long was finally ready to come back into the spotlight after what had transpired at the Royal Rumble. Akira Tozawa would leave the ring and walk up the ramp, realizing that he would live to fight on another day, but Humberto would stand his ground, suggesting that what Rollins was doing was not right at all, and asked Rollins to leave the ring, but it would be Humberto leaving the ring, courtesy of a curb stomp from Seth Rollins. From that moment on, Rollins would launch into a tirade on the man who eliminated him from the Royal Rumble, calling out the fragile ego and the jealousy of Corin, that he could not make history, while Seth Rollins became history. Amidst a mad tirade towards the man, it was the ending from Rollins that remembered best, telling Corin that while he stood at the top of the mountain, Rollins stood amongst the gods, and all it would take to bring it clattering down on top of him was one fatal stomp. This was a side of Seth Rollins that has never been seen before, a side of Seth Rollins incredibly dangerous, a side of Seth Rollins that was willing to throw ECW out of the window in the face of his own personal anger. Rollins made his statement clear for the world to see with the lights on him on ECW, but it was not over from there. From backstage footage as ECW was off the air, we saw Humberto Carrillo and Seth Rollins encounter one another backstage, with Humberto walking up to Rollins and demanding an apology for the attack on him earlier on that evening. Rollins would launch into Humberto, suggesting that he had earned no such apology, discussing that the brand that he had loved had fallen into chaos at the hands of Los Ingobernables de Japón, and just when it felt like it was ready for him to come to the rescue, Corin would take it all from him as his beloved brand burns in flames. What we saw in ECW then was Rollins sending Humberto into a locker, telling him that he would learn in the wake that until he had done what Rollins had done, he earned no such apology. It was clear to see on this evening that it doesn't matter who you are right now. If you get in Seth Rollins' way, you're in trouble. However, we return back to the Blue Brand to close out the recap for this week with our moment of the week. The return of the Rainmaker on SmackDown and the mind games from Jay White that came with it as well. As Okada was preparing to discuss what had happened at the Royal Rumble, two men wearing the apparel accustomed to the Switchblade by now would attempt to assault Okada. However, it would backfire and one of them would leave the ring with their tail between their legs. But it was all a part of a grander plan from the Switchblade, who would assault Okada from behind and lead us in to our moment of the week. Without further ado, Blade Runner. No! Okada counters it! The Rainmaker counters it! And the fight is back on! Okada is still standing here! And the crowd rises to their feet! Here goes the Rainmaker! Second time! Drop kick! Try as you might, Jay White did it enough! No! White denies the Rainmaker, and he's running! He is scarpering! Without further ado, it ain't to be! White, though, only going as far as the ramp, and hang on, another dressed up as him. Oh, he's looking for strength in numbers. White is looking for strength in numbers here for a beatdown on the Rainmaker. He is ready to pull the trigger here. Wait! That is not a follower of Jay White. under the mask. That is Robert Roode. Glorious DDT onto Jay White. He warned him, and tonight he got him. Robert Roode with his hands on Jay White, and it was glorious. A return for Okada that spiraled out of control, but one that ends with White regretting his mistakes. Mind games played up and down, but all the paths that Jay White have crossed came to bite him in the arse here tonight. Okada and Roode standing tall over a fallen switchblade. Now, though, we will take a look at what will happen on this week, the final week before the King of the Ring pay-per-view. First off, on Monday Night Raw, we will start things off on the red brand, how we ended last week's episode of Monday Night Raw, with a one-on-one match between Jazzy Gabert and Thunder Rosa. That is going to be an incredible way to kick off that episode of Monday Night Raw. But on top of that, we have two men in the King of the Ring representing Monday Night Raw doing battle, as Daniel Bryan will square off one-on-one against Juice Robinson. Juice had a great match with Kenny Omega last week. How will he cope 6 days before the show against another man in that tournament as well? On the blue brand, we will see more of the same, as it will be Big E and Keith Lee who will engage in a one-on-one confrontation a week after their backstage altercation, in which a war of words has led to what will be a match that you do not want to miss on this upcoming episode of SmackDown. Meanwhile, on ECW, as we saw Cedric Alexander come to the aid of the Revival against the British Empire, he will do battle against the British Empire once more next week, as he will take on one half of the team vying for those ECW tag team titles once again in Zach Gibson. Well, that'll wrap up another version of the Center of the Universe. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, please sure to click that like button and leave a comment as to what your favorite moment of the week was as well. And while you are down there, be sure to check out the links as well to my Twitter, Twitch, and the Wikipedia page in order to keep yourselves up to date with all things Universe. And while you're there as well, take a look at the join button, where for just $2, pounds, or euros a month, you will not only gain access to emotes and a special badge by your name in the live premiere chats, but you will also gain access to every episode of Universe 48 hours before they go to air. Sounds like a bargain to me. 3 weeks down, 1 to go. Just 3 shows before the King of the Ring pay-per-view. We'll see you for another week in the WWE. Thank you guys for watching. Take care, guys. And ta-ra.